So, the Awesome Foundation, what's it all about? If you ask any of our colleagues, they'll basically give you something obscure, like, well, we're just here to support the interest of awesome in the universe, but I know that's super geeky. What are we in reality? In reality, we are a bunch of everyday folks. In Sydney, there's 10 of us and myself as the Dean, and basically we're all about, we're motivated by bringing joy and fun, creative experiences to our city and using a really lightweight, sustainable funding model to make that happen. So awesome in itself is a very broad concept. So I thought I'd run through some of the projects that we think are awesome and things that have been funded from other cities as well as our own. So in Melbourne, there's an urban rooftop native beekeeping project that's going on, which we think is awesome. And then in Toronto, basically a bunch of people got together there to build an amazing epic cardboard fort. So it was a weekend of people just remembering what it was like to be a kid and to create a world out of cardboard. Awesome. In LA, there's a project called Random Swings of Joy, which is just fantastic. And basically the idea there was people went out and installed guerrilla-style swings all over the city in really exciting and interesting places. So in this photo, maybe you can see that, I'm not sure. But there's a photo of a guy under a boardwalk in LA and he's swinging out as the tide comes in, which I'm sure is totally illegal, but totally heaps of fun. And then, there's another guy who basically said, I want to create the world's first invisible violin. Amazing. So he went and did that with his $1,000 and that kind of kick-started him to create other projects. He's got a whole suite of invisible musical instruments that you can use now. In London, there's a group called the People's Kitchen that were funded by Awesome London. They basically get together to salvage food that's just past its expiry date, and then they have a massive communal cook-up every week, and that just seems like a lot of fun and a really good community vibe. The other thing we think is awesome is that when the new chapter in Austin in the US started up, the city of Austin decided, this is fantastic, let's make this a citywide awesome day. So now the city of Austin has an awesome day. So come on, City of Sydney, I think we should have one of those too. But I guess you're thinking, how does this all work? So to break it down, basically what you can do is anyone can apply, and it happens online at awesomefoundation.org. And basically the 10 trustees get together and myself. Everyone puts $100 down on the table, so that makes $1,000 for the month. And it's a very democratic process. We go through all of the proposals that we've had every month and we pick one that we really like the most. And then we go around and we drop it off in a brown paper bag. So it's really great because what that means is that there's no strings attached, there's no bureaucracy, and there's no bank account, and there's no acquittals. And so also being part of the Sydney chapter means that we're instantly part of global awesome. There's around 33 chapters in the world, and basically we just get access to advice and support from a lot of really interesting people. And each chapter runs really independently, so some people have tweaked with the model a little bit. So in the States, there's an Awesome Food chapter where they just focus on sustainable food initiatives. At the moment, there's Awesome Mongolia that's just about to start up, which we're really excited about. There's also one that specialises in working with school groups in Hamburg called Awesome Kids. And in Melbourne, they had to go and do one up on us. They decided that it's just not good enough to have one Awesome Foundation. They need to have two. So now they have Awesome Squared, which is great. So I guess, another thing that's really important to us is that we're not just about slapping down $1,000. We actually really care about the community and the people that we meet. And we're really excited by the collaborations that go on. So recently we announced a collaboration with Possible, which is a crowdfunding platform. And so now basically if you go online and you want to start up a project on Possible, you can tick a box to be considered for the Awesome Foundation as well. So I guess from here I'll talk a little bit about some of the projects that we've funded here in Sydney. Do we have any criteria for our funding is a common question that we get asked. And yes, we do have a few questions that we ask ourselves that basically form guiding principles. So a big one for us is, would anybody else fund this? And if the answer is no, then we know we're probably onto a good thing. We're like, yeah, let's do this. So an example of that would be physique aerobics. They're an 80s aerobics class, happens every week. There's lots of spandex, there's awards for the best dressed. It's heaps of fun. Sometimes we see a project that's already happening but could do with an extra $1,000 in a really positive way. So that was an example of that is the Oxford Street Design Store. They basically inherited a space that was, to showcase local design and do workshops and do interesting things, but it needed a bit of a spruce up. So our $1,000 went towards kitting it out, making it a bit more awesome. Pan is a local cultural magazine, and they'd already assembled all of the content. They have a great team of writers, and they needed to go to print, so we funded that. Sometimes it's about innovation. So one of our recipients built the world's smallest patch synthesizer. So these things are usually mighty beasts of equipment. He's built one that's the size of a business card, and he's open sourcing it. So anyone, whether you're an installation artist or an audio person, you can go out and build your own. There's also the Kids Autistic Spectrum device, and so this is a toy that helps kids and their families basically understand the world around them. And again, our $1,000 went towards building the prototype, which meant it could be part of a research project and helped take it to the next level. So that's kind of the state of awesomeness at the moment. I guess what we're looking forward to is funding more projects this year. I should have mentioned we've only been here for about a year. Meeting all your interesting folks out there. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, and you can go to awesomefoundation.org to apply. Cheers.